And the kids and I will never going to be safe in England, unless we have protection. And you've got to get the protection from the family. And if you don't, I mean, I just can't allow us to go because you just never know what's going to happen. History's going to repeat itself, and I'm going to be wiped out. And she has been implying, I am told, in this game, that the royal family wiped out Diana. So, which means
Wow.
Prince Philip wiped out Diana.
So she's adding to that paranoia that Harry has.
She's doing a Martin Bashir.
All right, let's unpack this wild royal analysis, because this one's got everything. Paranoia, manipulation, PR spin, and even echoes of Princess Diana's ghost being invoked for sympathy. So, what's all this about? Basically, Lady Collin Campbell, yes, that Lady C, the self-styled royal truth-teller who never minces words, is back at it again, this time dissecting Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's latest drama.
What's really going on with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry after that appalling outing in New York City, where they appeared to show to the world their discomfort with each other and hatred of each other? Well, Lady Collin Campbell has a theory on this, and all may not be as it seems. She posted on X, "I am smelling a big rat." The message has been relayed by the Sussex camp is so pointed that they lead me to question whether Harry and Meghan aren't on a massive duper's delight trip. I get why most of the media and many of the public might be taking the bait. The Harrys and Meghans of this world can be very convincing, especially when they have something to gain from the red herrings that are dropping everywhere, as they set the traps with which to bait others. But having spent the first 50 years of my life in the cauldron, that is a devious, manipulative, narcissist favoured device for cooking up brews that are intended to satisfy that said narcissist's needs without care or regard for the consequences to those who consume the brew, for me the warning bells are ringing loudly and clearly. Can anyone with actual knowledge of how dark triads function seriously believe that a couple who are so practiced in the art of media manipulation would be revealing serious divisions between themselves unless it was in their worldly interest to do so? I may be wrong. Maybe they are about to divorce. Maybe pigs are about to fly. And maybe Meghan and Harry aren't setting up everyone for yet another of their wheezes. Time will tell. And Lady Collin Campbell joins me now. Lady C, what do you think is really going on then? Because it was interesting to note that for the first time, the Daily Mail, which you know has been so conscious of sort of getting into the weeds on what's really going on with Harry and Meghan because of this court case, actually reported over the past week via Alison Boshoff that things are really bad in the marriage. I mean, she wrote really, really bad at times. But you think they were playing a bit of a game in New York City, which, by the way, does seem to be backed up by the picture that Meghan included of Prince Harry within her Instagram reel, where Milano posted, "This traitor is 100% behind his cretinous wife. Look at his smile, his ease, my conscience' clear attitude. Don't feel sorry for this piece of shit. He supports her insane Paris at night Instapost, her sociopathic obsession with the Princess of Wales. He is in on it all." So, Lady C, what's really going on here?
Well, I mean, I sort of am going off my own experience of observing a narcissistic couple that played similar games. I'm speaking about my parents, really, my mother, and when there is dissonance, and if you don't know the games that go on, and also how the game can change momentarily. So 1 minute they're nice, the next they're nasty, literally, and then 5 minutes later, it's as if nothing ever happened. It's the constant change of mood. But I tell you what I think is going on personally. And this is just my hunch.
And honestly, her take isn't for the faint-hearted. According to her, the couple's chaotic New York appearance wasn't just another awkward outing. It was a performance, a psychological game, and maybe even part of a bigger Jupiter's Delight scheme. Lady C starts by dissecting Meghan's Paris Fashion Week appearance, where, apparently, Meghan tried to channel Princess Diana.
I know that the marriage is very up and down and rocky, and a man in a situation like that, who is a much weaker man and much less intelligent, but even if he's more intelligent, because my father was more intelligent than my mother, a matter of character, the woman, if she's the more dominating partner in the marriage, will be able to set the agenda, and the man is then using his intelligence against himself sometimes. But I think they were in total accord with each other, and I think they are basically in total accord with each other on one level. So she went to Paris. They knew Paris was going to cause comment. Meghan, I don't think she necessarily said to him, I'm going to ape being your mother. And I don't think she'd have said that to him, but she did it. And he has come out defending her, saying that, oh, it's not Meghan who's been aping my mother's last trip. It's the press who have been accusing her of aping my mother's last trip. In much the same way that, remember, was it Tom Bradby? Yes, it was. Or he said, oh, no. When Tom Bradby asked him about the racist comments, oh, we never made racist comments. It's the press that made the link with us saying that the royal family was racist, notwithstanding the fact that not only did they say it in the Oprah show, but they actually even received an award from Kerry Kennedy for fighting institutional racism within the royal family. So he is wildly inconsistent in terms of actually accepting responsibility for anything they say and do. But I don't think that they plotted that. I think that was Meghan's attempt, because I think Meghan, when she stepped out of the Balenciaga show, I think she hoped and maybe even expected the paparazzi to follow her, and nobody followed her. And I think this would have been a crushing moment for her, on top of the other crushing moments that there had been at the show. The first was the embarrassing continental kiss that she knew she didn't pull off properly, and she knew the press was going to capture that and comment on it. Then she was placed not in the central aisle in the front row, but in a side aisle in the front row. So that again is, oh dear, I'm B-list, I'm not A-list. And when people say that Anna Wintour was placed there as well, people don't understand, when you are organizing an event like that, if you're going to get rid of a troublesome person and do it in such a way that you are actually putting them down without being subject to the consequences thereafter, what you do is you put someone eminent nearby, so that if anybody says, you see, it was a deliberate put down, there is plausible deniability. Do you see what I'm saying where that's concerned?
She stepped out of the Balenciaga show hoping to cause a media frenzy, but according to Lady C, it flopped. No one followed her. No paparazzi chase. No big splash. Brutal. So where does that leave us? According to Lady C, Meghan and Harry's public awkwardness isn't a sign of breakup. It's part of the performance.
Well, it helps, Dan, to know how these things really work. I mean, I've been doing events for over 50 years now. And for instance, I don't know if you've noticed, at my ball, my table is never the most important table. It's never number one. And many of the very important people are not in the most prominent positions. People who would be offended are in the most prominent positions. That's how things are done if you're going to be civilized and sophisticated. And believe me, all those fashion houses are super sophisticated and very civilized. So anyway, she then walks out at the end of the show and expects that the paparazzi are going to follow her. And nobody does. So she has to post something that she knows will grab attention. And most likely in her deluded mind, she even hoped that they would then embark upon a chase with her, which of course nobody did. So I think though that they are basically in on all of it together. I think they went when they the New York trip. Yeah, they do have terrible rows, I'm told, and which again goes along with the narcissistic relationship, and because the other person is literally being consumed and whether they are aware of it or not, on a psychic level, they are literally being consumed, and they have to be on some atavistic level aware of it. So there's always going to be rockiness in the marriage. But I think what she did, and I used to see my mother do it, before we went out to something, she would whip herself up into frenzy. So she was ready to perform, and she would do it by arguing with my father or with one of us. And so we would arrive at the event, a basket case, but she was, I've arrived. And I think Meghan same thing. And she understood that by doing it, she wasn't only going to rattle Harry, and which she succeeded in doing, but she was going to get a lot of press attention, because also, let's remember, Meghan is on a massive diversion campaign. First of all, from the failure of Was Never, and with spewing Meghan as opposed to love, and all so and she knows that she is struggling where all of that is concerned, and she's trying to divert attention away as well from the constant public demands to clarify the children's situation, because I am reliably informed that the most commented upon subject correspondence-wise to the palace is the question of those two children's identity. And she will be aware of that. I'm sure you are aware of it. And so, and every time that is coming to the boil, they come up with something, and then it's forgotten till the next time. But I think that's one of the underlying motivations. And I think the other is she's just a fame junkie. She loves the attention. Even without the surrogacy business, she would still be doing much, if not all of this. She would simply have different motives for doing it, but she would still be doing it. And I think those other different motives kick in generally as well. What do you think?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things for me this week was actually the briefing to page 6 in the New York Post. And I know this is a journalist, she's the editor at large of the New York Post, and she's a British journalist, and she has direct contact with Team Sussex. And they briefed, yeah, there it is. Humanitarians of the Year, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle ready to strategize a peace deal with the royals. And so this is all coming directly from Meghan, right? And I found it fascinating because there is this acknowledgement that she has to change tack. And Sarah Nathan reported, insiders told Page 6 that behind the scenes, Markle, who has never shied away from going into detail about how her husband's relatives allegedly mistreated her, has actually been supporting Harry's recent bid to reconcile with his family, especially his father. They need the royal family, said a source, adding Meghan is aware of that. The couple is well aware of the cachet their royal titles afford them. Their stationery and that of their children has HRH emblazoned on it. Meghan knows that Harry won't be returning to royal duties, but on a human personal level, she wants for him to be able to get on good terms with his father added the source. Harry is said to have been relieved to find his father doing well after not having seen him in person for 19 months, wearing a big smile afterwards as he told reporters Charles was great, and the wayward prince has seemed lighter and happier since. But one insider made it clear that Markle is not holding Harry back from his family and that she encouraged him to see the king while he was in London. The insider added that the couple both very much want Charles to spend time with his grandchildren and that Harry is believed to have given his father a photo of Archie and Lilibet during their private tea together at Clarence House. And so, to me, that reporting, Lady C, and as I say, this has been briefed directly from Team Sussex, was such a 180 for Meghan Markle. And of course, she's completely shameless in how she's done that. But it's because there is deep down this acknowledgement, holy crap, none of this has worked, so we are going to have to massively change strategy. And she's being, I mean, I obviously think it's dastardly, but one could argue that it's also pragmatic.
Meghan's reconciliation campaign is a PR move to shift blame and control the narrative. She manipulates Harry emotionally by invoking Diana's death and playing the safety card. Their media strategy thrives on contradiction. Bad press still means attention. And ultimately, Meghan's real addiction isn't money or status. It's fame itself. Lady C ends her analysis by saying Meghan's behavior reminds her of her own narcissistic mother, charming, volatile, brilliant at manipulation, and endlessly theatrical. And honestly, whether you think that's harsh or spot on, it's hard to deny that Meghan and Harry's saga has turned into one of the most complex PR dramas of modern celebrity culture. From royal palaces to podcast flops to performative reconciliations, the Sussexes seem to live in a perpetual loop of crisis and reinvention. And if Lady C.S. right, that's exactly how they like it, because chaos keeps them at the center of the story. After all, as she would say, in the world of Narcissus, the show must always go on.